Hello everyone, glad to have you back. After playing quite a bit of F-Zero X on my Switch, I got curious and wanted to find out how long it would take me to complete the game. I initially thought it would be enough to unlock and beat Master difficulty, but that wasn't even close to really beating the game. Today I want to talk about how many races one has to complete in order to truly finish every single F-Zero game. So that means whenever there are things to unlock, even if it's just a small symbol like an X, we have to do it. This is going to be quite a journey, and I'm sure you may be as surprised as I was when you hear the total number of races we need to finish. I'll go through all the games in chronological order, so let's begin with the original. The original F-Zero is pretty tame compared to the others. It's a rather simple game, so there isn't much to do. You only have 3 cups with 5 races each. You technically have the game beat as soon as you finish all 3 cups on Master difficulty with any machine. That's 30 races in total, which isn't a lot compared to the other games, but before you get to Master, you need to unlock it first, which requires you to beat every cup on Expert first. That doubles our total, so we're at 60 races now. Not a lot, but that's still going to take some time. We could technically do it with every single machine, but there isn't anything that tracks our progress, so I don't think it needs to be done. F-Zero X is where it starts to get interesting. Here we kinda have a system that tracks our progress. Whenever we select a difficulty and get to the machine selection, we see 5 dots here. Each one represents one of the cups on the selected difficulty. That means if we really want to go for a full completionist approach, we have to beat every single one of the 5 cups with all of the 30 machines on all 4 difficulties to change all those dots to the corresponding cups. Just thinking about it makes me want to give up already. I already struggle with Master difficulty with some of the better machines. I can't imagine doing it with some of the worst. Now that that's all together, in total there are 24 races, plus 6 from the X Cup. That means 30 races. Now you consider the 4 difficulties, which results in 120 races. That means every single machine needs to beat 120 races. That now results in 3600 races, but that isn't all. We still have the Staff Ghost. That's another 30 races we need to win, and that is still not everything. There's still the Death Race, and here there's no tracker, so it's alright if you only beat it with 1 machine. That puts our total at 3631 races. That is more than I expected, and honestly more than anyone should ever do. I understand if this number is already overwhelming, but there is still one more thing. The expansion kit. Yes, I'm going to include it here because why not? It's part of the game. Kinda. The expansion kit adds 2 more cups with 6 tracks each. They are also tracked on the machine selection screen, so we also need to beat both of them on every difficulty with every machine. Every machine needs to finish 48 races, so that's a total of 1440 races. Combine that with the regular game's total and you get a 5071. Good luck. That's way more than I expected, and honestly, more than anyone should ever do. This may be one of the hardest games of all time to complete. Not only is it very difficult, it also has so much to do. It's just insane. Maximum Velocity is more similar to the first game in the series when it comes to completing it. Since there's nothing else to do other than the Grand Prix and the Championship course time trial, we'll focus on the Grand Prix first. First we need to complete all 4 cups on Experts to unlock Master difficulty. That's 20 races. Then we double that number for Master difficulty, so we get to 40. But forget this number for now, it isn't important yet. What is important though is to clarify how we unlock this. The chat Vermilion. We can either use a password generated through this website, play the championship course 255 times, or we can beat every cup on Master difficulty with every other machine. A password kinda feels like cheating, and the same course 255 times is a bit boring, so we will just do the last remaining option. Excluding the Chat Vermilion, there are 9 machines. In total, we need to complete 180 races to unlock the Chat Vermilion, but that's only on Master difficulty. Remember what I said before, we need to beat Expert first, so we add 20 to our total. Now, let's take a look at this. After choosing a machine and cup, you can see the color of the difficulty's text changes depending if you have already beaten your chosen cup on that difficulty. If you have done that, the text appears green. Our goal is to get all 4 difficulties to appear green instead of yellow, so we have to beat every cup on the lower 2 difficulties as well. That is another 40 races we have to add to our total. We are now at 240 races. Let's now add the championship course and we get our final total for maximum velocity. 241 races. Not as many as some other games, but still quite a lot to do. Ah yes, I love talking about GX. Have I ever mentioned that it's one of my favorite games of all time? Well, I have now. Anyway, GX does a good job of showing you your progress. It's the biggest F-Zero game, so there's a lot to do. First, we have story mode, 9 chapters on 3 difficulties each. We have to beat them all to unlock custom parts and the AX machines, so that's already quite a challenge. Especially chapter 5, but you already know about that one. Story mode has 27 races, not a lot, but there is more. Grand Prix is up next, and here we have 5 cups with 5 races each, excluding Sonic Oval for now, since it isn't in the Grand Prix, on 4 difficulties. Apart from custom parts and tickets, there isn't anything we unlock from beating the cups on lower difficulties, so we will focus on Master now. But in order to unlock Master, we first have to beat the Ruby, Sapphire and Emerald Cup on Expert to unlock Master, so that's already 15 races. When you beat any cup on Master, you will unlock a short movie of the character you used. Only if you use their machine, of course, so you can't just use a broken custom machine and rush through it. Every single one of the 41 characters has a short movie, so you technically have to beat 1 cup on Master with every single one. It doesn't matter which one, since all count and all have 5 races. To unlock every single movie, you have to do at least 205 races. If you do it in one try, of course. Combined with story mode, we are on 232 races. Now at the 15 tracks on Expert to even unlock Master, and you're at 247. After getting close or beating a Staff Ghost on time trials, you unlock your Staff Ghost. A ghost exists for every track, so that's another 26 races. In a perfect run, you would beat them all before unlocking them, so let's just stick to 26. 273 races in total to complete F-Zero GX. Let's see if we did everything in one try. In reality, it's really more, but I'm just interested in the minimum number of races. GP Legend is a weird one for this video. We first have the Grand Prix, which only has 4 cups on 3 difficulties, but there are 2 issues. On Expert, the tracks are different, and the Gold Cup either has Illusion or Red Cannon as the final track. Since we want to unlock and complete everything, we have to beat every cup except the Platinum Cup on Expert and any lower difficulty. There isn't anything that tracks which machine we use, so we can just pick a random one. Bronze, Silver and Gold combined are 15 tracks, but since we need to do the Gold Cup at least twice, we technically have to add 5 more races. If we get the other track on our second attempt, of course. So that's 20 races. Multiply that by 2 for Expert difficulty and add the 8 races from the Platinum Cup, and we have 48 races to complete the Grand Prix. We now have to add all the 0 test races. If we perform flawlessly and get a Gold Cup on every test on the first attempt, we have a total of 48 challenges. We are now at 96 races, but that still isn't all. The story mode is where it gets complicated. We could just take the 8 characters with 5 missions each, plus the 2 X missions for Rio and Captain Falcon to get 42, but that isn't exactly right. In order to unlock everything, we have to max out the money on every character, and, well, that is kinda complicated. Each mission gives you a different amount of money depending on how long it is and how fast you are. I replayed GP Legend Story Mode on a fresh save file, and I counted how many races it took me to complete everything. The total number of Story Mode missions I had to complete was 55. Here are the totals for each character if you are really interested. You may be able to shave off 1 or 2 races somewhere if you perform better than I did, but this is what I got. That means we now have a total for GP Legend, and that is 151. Now let's just add the championship course to get to 152, but once again, there is one last thing. Since I included the F-Zero X expansion kit, it would be unfair not to include the e-reader challenges. I made another video about them, so watch that if you're interested. Anyway, there are 5 time trials you can do, so that's 5 extra races to add to our total, which is now at 157. Not as much as the other games, but still more than I thought. Climax takes the changing courses depending on difficulty from GP Legend and adds more. We now have 3 versions of each track, one for Master, Expert and the lower difficulties, but there is no weird 50-50 chance of getting a track, so we only have to do each cup once. We take the 15 races, multiply them by 3 and add the 8 races from the Platinum Cup, so we get to 53. A little more than GP Legend, but that isn't everything. There is also a 0 test, but it's shorter this time. Also a bit harder, but that doesn't matter. Only 9 races instead of 12, but there's still 4 classes, so that's a total of 36 tests. Now we have Survival, and here is where things get very interesting. We have 4 difficulties, and this counter that tracks with how many machines we have finished each difficulty, but there's an issue with that. It says 36 here, but Climax has 40 different machines. I guess this was a mistake. Anyway, we have to beat each difficulty 40 times, once with each machine. Tour has 5 challenges, Challenge has 8, Battle has 9, and Violence has a big pool of different challenges, but we only get 12 per run, so we are going to stick to 12. Everything added together results in 1,360 races, for survival only. I haven't added the Grand Prix and Zero Test yet. With those added, we get a total of 1,449, but we need to add one more, the Championship course, so that's a total of 1,450 races to 100% complete F-Zero Climax. So, if you want to 100% complete everything there is to complete in every single F-Zero game, you would have to finish 7,246 races. That is an insane number that I didn't expect at all, but you need to consider this. You don't really have to do that. You unlock everything there is to unlock a lot earlier, and the rest is just a bonus. Just look at X, you unlock every cup, master difficulty and every machine after beating just a handful of races. No need to go and do over 5,000. It's interesting to see how much you would have to do if you wanted to go full completionist on these games, but it's honestly very unrealistic to do that. To recap, here's a list of how many races each game needs to be 100% completed. I know this is a bit of an unusual topic, but that's just what I wanted to do. It's what my channel is about, random F-Zero content, and well, it ain't more random than this. Also, here's a little update on my last 2 videos. I'm still looking for the worst machines in F-Zero GX, but since I have started talking with Guy Perfect, we have redefined what the worst machine would be. There is some work being done that I will talk about in the future when it's ready. Don't worry, I haven't forgotten about the search. Anyway, I won't keep you here any longer, so have a good one. Bye.